Happy Halloween! Welcome to VSB News Online for Friday, October 31st. I'm Peter Cattell. 51-year-old Wayne Deers of Hamilton Parish became Bermuda's 12th road fatality. The father of two suffered serious injury in a reported single-vehicle motorcycle collision on South Road in Devonshire near the junction with T Street. Following the collision, he was admitted into the hospital's intensive care unit, where he remained until his death late last night. Police are conducting a full investigation and are appealing for witnesses who have not already come forward. They may contact the investigating officer, PC Ian Scotton, on the main police telephone number 295-0011. Last year's inaugural Bermuda Police Variety Show was such a success that when ideas were being tossed around for this year's 135th anniversary celebration, doing a repeat performance for the public was a no-brainer. Police Sergeant Dawson Dates, who helped run the 2013 event, volunteered to repeat the effort and has gathered a group of backstage workers and performers around him for the Saturday, November 8th presentation at the Ruth Seaton James Auditorium.
It opens up with a police choir, and most people when they see that, they're like, the police have a choir? Yeah, the police do have a choir, and they're a very good choir too. Then we go on to some dancing. We have some musical instruments being played by persons such as Damon Hollis, who is very well known out in the community, particularly the Christian community, as he plays at many churches. And we have others like Mr. Swaby here, who brings dub poetry to the table. Then there's also some karaoke performances, which are really interesting. Yeah, that's basically the variety: dance, song, poetry, the whole gamut.
It's rather nice. It's the other side to police service. You work so hard and you do such important work, and then you have a chance to relax.
Yeah, definitely. Most people, they don't get a chance to see this side of the police officers, yeah? Particularly here in Bermuda. All they see is the side of arrests and offenses and ticketing persons, etc. Yeah, but definitely. We have that talented social side of us as well.
Now, this is part of the anniversary celebrations, so that's why it's in November. And I suspect the public will be a major part of this. Are you raising funds for anything?
Yes, definitely. All funds that are raised go towards a charity each year. And this year, the charities that have been selected by the Commissioner of Police are the Women's Resource Center, as well as Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Bermuda. So no monies actually come to the participants. The time is volunteered, there's no payment, and all proceeds go to these charities.
But you've gone outside the police force for some of the acts. Can you tell us who they are?
Oh yeah, one of the major side acts this year is actually the reigning Bermuda idol, Olivia Hamilton, and that's a voice to behold. That lady can sing. So I actually heard her one day, and I was like, wow, I think that we can actually utilize her as part of the show. And as a matter of fact, she did perform a couple years ago at the police ball, and I remember then, and when I heard that she had won this year, I approached her and she said, I'm always willing to give back to my community as well. So I know it's a charitable event, so she hopped on board immediately.
Where do we get the tickets?
Oh, tickets can be received from persons in the Eastern Community Action Team. They can be received also at the Police Recreational Club, as well as 27th Century just jumped on board and said, hey, we normally sell a lot of tickets for a whole host of events, and they will be willing not only to give a gift certificate towards what the commissioner called an incidental raffle at the end, which will raise additional funds, but they're also going to sell some tickets for us, which is very, very gracious of them.
For the numerous householders concerned about treatment of their water tanks following Hurricane Gonzalo, here's advice. It comes from Environmental and Health Officer Eric Martin, who tells VSB's Charles Webb there is a solution to the problem.
Our advice to that person would be to aerate the water, then chlorinate.
So when you say aerate, what precisely do you mean?
To aerate the water in the tank, what you want to do is get fresh oxygen in the tank. To do that, if you have an outside garden hose, you would hook it up to an outside tap, try to run the hose on the roof, allow the water to run along the roof. As it's running along the roof, it will pick up fresh oxygen. And as it's doing that, it will then go back down into the rainwater pipe, into the tank. The good thing about that is you're actually circulating the water. You're pulling the water from the bottom of the tank and you're pushing it to the top. So you're circulating it and you're getting fresh oxygen in.
So how long after a hurricane should you do that?
Well, you want to wait to find out if that is your issue. If your issue is my water has an offensive, bad odor, that's the remedy. Get fresh oxygen in. And after you do that, you want to chlorinate the water in the tank. And to do that, we use regular household bleach. For every 1,000 gallons of water in the tank, you would use a half a cup or 4 ounces of bleach. If you had 10,000 gallons in your tank, you would use 5 cups, 7,000, 3.5, and so forth and so on. So that's the key to that.
Now, is that water both drinkable after a while with that chlorine bleach in it?
It could be, but if you want to know for sure, and you want the science to be done, then you would want to collect a sample in a sterile bottle, bring it to us, and we will let you know what the bacteriological quality of the water is.
Mr. Martin suggests tanks should be cleaned at least every 6 years, and that householders who have tried aerating and chlorinating in the main have reported better tasting water afterwards. Education Minister Dr. Grant Gibbons considers that the Bermuda education system has been making steady progress in administering the Cambridge curriculum in the public school system.
Each year, we remind our stakeholders that the Bermuda public school system is the only public school system that sits the Cambridge exams. Other international education systems that use the Cambridge curriculum select their students. Hence, it is within this context that we should interpret the Cambridge scores achieved for all of our schools in Bermuda. Generally, the results of the Bermuda Middle School checkpoints, when compared with overall Cambridge International average scores, reveal that there is still much work to be done at the middle school level. The ministry recognizes this and has already begun the process of improving the quality of teaching and learning in the classroom in the middle schools. You may recall back in July 2014, I announced the implementation of the Middle School Transformation Plan. The plan is specifically designed to provide focused professional development on creating active, rigorous, and engaged learning experiences for all teachers and educational leaders. This will ensure that our students have the needed academic interventions to support their learning. The Cambridge Checkpoint exam are one means of providing the key data needed to evaluate and monitor the progress of the Middle School Transformation Plan. Now, on the other hand, the results of the primary school Cambridge checkpoints placed our primary school students at a higher level. The P6 results indicated that students demonstrated good competencies in English and science with average scores yielding 3.5. The average score for mathematics was lower at 2.6. All 18 primary schools participated in the Cambridge Checkpoint exams. A total of 383 students sat the English, mathematics, and science exams. Primary P6 students are performing well in English. 16 of the 18 primary schools achieved average scores above 3.0. The remaining 2 schools scored 2.7 and 2.9. The results for science are comparable, with 17 out of the 18 primary schools achieving scores above 3.0. These results are certainly encouraging and reflect a commendable performance by both students and teachers.
We'll be back with more news right after this.
You can count on us. Save $1 on imported broccoli crowns, $2.99 per pound. XL Fresh assorted pork chops, $3.49 per pound. For mac and cheese, mix in Campbell's cheddar cheese, $1.39 for a 10.75-ounce tin. Only $1.89 for a 500-gram box of Catelli macaroni. Everything's better with bluebonnet margarine on it. Only $1.79 for a 1-pound box. Visit our website at www.marketplace.pm for more super specials.
You can count on us.
The annual World Rugby Classic is always held close to the November 11th Remembrance Day parade, and players have made a point of attending the ceremony on Front Street as part of the crowd of spectators. But this year there will be a 30-strong detachment of serving British soldiers on hand, and they have requested that they be allowed to march in the parade. BSB News asked World Rugby Classic organizer John Kane how the gesture came about.
Well, last year the chief of the British Army General Staff was in Bermuda. He came down from Washington for the rugby, and we started talking about it then, about trying to put it together.
Now, do they have a pretty internationally famous group of players?
The British Army Masters, they play a lot of tournaments around the place. Yes, they've certainly got a good team and a strong team, and comes from all sorts of the ranks, but they would be pretty good, and so. It adds an extra dimension to the Classic. Obviously, they'll play against the Atlanta Renegades.
That's an exhibition game,
which is an exhibition game, and then they'll play Atlanta Renegades. Will play Bermuda Barbarians, and then the Bermuda Barbarians will play against the Army. So they'll get 2 games each. They take part in the November the 11th parade.
Right, that's an extra, isn't it? That's really something.
Yeah.
So for once we're going to have a whole new, fresh group of, I suppose, retired police soldiers.
Well, they're not retired, I don't think. They might be retired from rugby, but they're not retired from the Army.
Oh, so these are serving soldiers?
Oh yeah, all ranks, yeah.
Will there be any uniform that you know of?
I don't know. No idea.
But it's the British Army, as such.
It is definitely British Army, yeah. They're all British Army serving, yeah.
And roughly how many would you think will be coming?
There's just under 30.
Polaris Limited, the holding company for stevedoring services, Bermuda's dock operators, has reported a $1.8 million loss for the financial year ending March 31st, 2014, driven in large measure by a $1 million write-down in its real estate property. BSB News' Brian Darby has the details.
Newly appointed financial controller Linda Amaral explained that since companies were allowed to write the value of their real estate property up to a fair market value, she said that Polaris, like a lot of companies, did not anticipate the dramatic softening of Bermuda's economy. Polaris has enjoyed a major restructuring over the past year, and the board of directors have said that with a new CEO in Warren Jones and a new team established at the helm, they are optimistic about the company and are forecasting a flat but steady 2015 with a more robust fiscal 2016. In that regard, a proposal has been submitted to the Corporation of Hamilton and the Ports Authority seeking new rates for 2015 and 2016, which, if approved, would be a key ingredient to bringing stevedoring services in line with the cost of doing business. I'm Brian Darby for VSB News.
In sports, the North Village Lady Rams are Disney Plate netball champions, and Taylor Ashley Bean is the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association Women's Cross Country champion. Earl Baisden has more in our sports report.
The North Village Lady Rams took to the court for the second day to compete in the Disney International Youth Netball Tournament in Florida. When the dust settled, the North Village Lady Rams were crowned the inaugural Disney International Youth Netball Tournament Plate champions. Round-robin action continued first, with the North Village Lady Rams going down 31-13 to La Lucia from South Africa. The next match saw the Lady Rams fall 27-8 to the Metro Netball from Australia. Once again, the Lady Rams fell 26-10 to West Aussie Thunder. In their final game of the round-robin stage, it saw the Lady Rams defeat the Texas Lone Star first team 24-6. With an overall record of 5 wins and 6 losses over the 2 days, the Lady Rams would play in the Plate Division. In their opener Plate Division match, the Lady Rams defeated the Texas Lone Star second team 10-4. They next defeated the Texas Lone Star first team 12-4. The Lady Rams would then defeat Gad Hill 13-0. The Lady Rams would next defeat Chesterfield High 15-1 to advance to the plate semifinals. In the plate semifinal, the Lady Rams would defeat Chesterfield's first team 11-5, and then in the plate final, the Lady Rams would take on the Texas Lone Star second team and defeat them 29-7. Taylor Ashley Bean is the 2014 Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association cross-country women's champion. Bean finished first, helping Virginia State University's women's cross-country team finish fourth in the 12-school event at the Wigmad Soccer Park cross-country course. 70 runners went to the start line, with Bean recording the fastest time of 19:27.57. The Bermuda Amateur Swimming Association will be sending a team to the upcoming International Swimming Federation's World Swimming Short Course Championships. Roy Allen Birch and Julian Fletcher are set to represent Bermuda at the meet, which will be held December 3rd through to the 7th in Qatar. At the same time as the World Championships, FINA will host a youth program. Bermuda's Jesse Washington and Vanessa Esposito are set to represent Bermuda. The Executive Council of the Bermuda Football Association presented the affiliates with gifts. Bermuda Football Association President Larry Musselden explains more.
On behalf of FIFA and CONCACAF, Bermuda Football Association is pleased to present to our affiliate clubs a whole range of equipment. So we've got full gear bags that have footballs, shin pads, cones, all sorts of items that will assist them in their training and development. We've also had the benefit of the Red Cross to be present, who provided us with medical kits that the clubs can use, and we expect to see them being used during games. And so we're absolutely delighted to forge a relationship with the Red Cross as well as with all of our clubs. We know that our clubs have various challenges, and so we're pleased that all of them showed up today to be able to collect this gear. Part of this is the CONCACAF program called Win in CONCACAF, and both at the FIFA level and CONCACAF level and here at the BFA, we're really committed to the development of our young people and our players as they move through domestic football and then get selected to be with our national academy and then also with our national program.
Meanwhile, the prestigious Digicel Kickstart Academy is currently being held at the Sabina Park in Jamaica. Kamal Davis and Lenico Millet are representing Bermuda. Chelsea FC Foundation Senior International Football Development Officer and Digicel Kickstart Academy head coach David Monk has a message for young Bermudians looking for the same opportunity come next year.
All I can ask of you is you work hard, you're disciplined, you're dedicated to actually achieving your goals. And what I would say is that there's three things we're looking for. And between now and April or May, when we next come to visit, I would ask that the boys thoroughly work on, firstly, their technical ability between now and then. So this is a chance to improve over a longer period of time. Listen to your coach, develop your skills in terms of your technique and how to apply them in a game. Secondly, we're asking the players to have good tactical understanding and maybe play in more than one position. So we might ask somebody to try a position that's a little bit foreign to them, because then they learn a different sort of aspect of the game and a different viewpoint on the game, and I think that puts them in better stead when it comes in terms of individual development. And the third thing we ask of all the players, especially the ones from Bermuda who've done so well this year, is we want them to be a young ambassador for the country. You know, we want them to be respected, we want them to be role models, and we want them to come to the academy flying the Bermuda flag high and being proud to wear the Chelsea badge, the Digicel sign, and also the Bermuda flag on their t-shirt.
The Caribbean Cycling Federation will be holding some new events in 2015, as well as the annual Elite and Junior Championships. French St. Martin will host the Junior Championships July or August, while Barbados is expected to host the Elite event in October. 2015 will be the 10th and 15th anniversaries of these races, respectively. Being added to the calendar will be a Masters Caribbean Cycling Championships hosted by St. Vincent and the Grenadines in August. This will have categories for 40 to 49, 50 to 59, and 60 plus, both in male and female divisions. Puerto Rico have put their country name forward to host a mountain bike championships for juniors 17 and 18 and elite riders late in September. There's also talk of a Caribbean track championship to be held in Havana, Cuba. I'm Earl Basden reporting for VSB Sports.
Thanks for watching VSB News Online for Friday, October 31st. Stay safe and have a happy Halloween. I'm Peter Cattell.